Hello and welcome to today's episode of Platinum Talks Wealth. Emmy-nominated journalist Jennifer Rogers Markwell changed gears in her television career when she realized the need to help women make sense of investing. She regularly hosts educational workshops to empower women and others to take charge of their financial future. Now, join your host, Platinum Wealth Management President Jennifer Rogers Markwell, as she leads us into the world of money memories, money infidelities, and how these can mold our relationship with our personal finances as adults. Let's dive into today's episode.
It's Jennifer Rogers Markwell from the Platinum Talks Wealth podcast. Today we're joined by Wendi Archuleta. Wendi, thank you so much for making time.
Absolutely.
So I always ask, tell me all about you and why you do what you do.
Okay, well, I'm a realtor in Reno, Nevada. I love the community. I'm born and raised, went to Reno High as well as University of Nevada, Reno. My kids are 5th-generation Archuletas. Yes, I'd moved a few times, came back within a year or less, so never a year past that mark. So I know the community quite well and pretty connected, which really helps with my business if my clients need a specific person or company to help with something within their home, whether they're purchasing or selling. I've been a realtor for a little over 13 years. Before that, my ex-husband and I owned a couple insurance companies, so I definitely have that background and that mindset of helping within the community.
How did you get into, real estate? So obviously you've worn different hats and you're a multifaceted human being. How did you get kind of on the path that you're on now?
I grew up about 8 years old, flipping homes with my dad. So I wasn't the kid that got to sleep in on the weekends or come home from school and lay back and watch a movie. He was in the past in the military. So I was raised quite strict and with a very fulfilled and brutal work ethic, if you will. So 8 years old, I was digging fence posts. I was digging to plant trees, literally huge holes, sprinkler systems, fences. Tearing walls down. So it got to the point where every 2 years we would move. I went to 6 different elementary schools here in Reno, and just we would live in the home and then flip it within 2 years and then buy another one. So we always lived in that home that was the least attractive home in the neighborhood. But when we left, it was phenomenal. So it was something that was really ingrained in me to moving is pleasurable for me. I love a new beginning in my space. I love to change things and mold things and make things my own. So I can kind of see that through my clients' eyes when we're looking at a property and they're like, well, if we took this wall down, or I get just as excited to kind of hear what they're planning to do, or maybe the history that they've had of never wanting to do a renovation again. So my dad and I would just jump in the car sometimes and drive around neighborhoods and just look at architecture or landscaping or different changes that they had made customary to the neighborhood. So I really loved looking at properties since a very, very young age. So I figured, hey, I'm into this. I know how to, change things. All I need to do is learn how to be a realtor. And that's exactly what I did.
I think one thing for me knowing you that goes hand in hand with this is I feel like you are the queen of connections. Like you are just really, regardless of wherever people are on their path or what they need, or you are connecting people all the time, it seems.
I love that. It's not a connection for profit. It's not a connection for notoriety. I don't need anything from it. If you need something and I can help, that is absolutely one of my favorite things to do is help people out, because there were times in my life and still are where I need a connection. So it's favorable going both ways.
Yeah, and I think it also ties into, like, again, nothing against men. I love them. I love my husband by all means. But it's also women lifting women, which
Yes.
is unfortunately sometimes rare, right? And I see that so much from you, and so much that from your leadership and what you put out in the universe is really lifting each other, but truly women lifting women.
I think when you have a level of women that we surround ourselves with that honor each other, um, it's easy. It's easy because you can feel when somebody is not in balance with your energy. I know I can. When I'm exhausted, when I leave somebody's presence, it's nothing I want to revisit. So I feel uplifted when I leave my circle. Each and every woman in that circle uplifts me to I leave with such a gratification and a conscious happiness of wanting to return to that place.
That's huge. And I obviously wish that for everyone, right? But
Me
definitely
too.
what you create is very special.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're part of it.
Thank you.
The beautiful thing.
So another thing we talk about on the podcast are money memories. And I feel like some of my questions like have crazy moments for people because sometimes it's that aha moment really in real time. But I think it makes you really kind of go inward and think a little bit differently. What's a money memory that you had as a child or younger person that helped mold your relationship to money as an adult?
Um, there was a positive and negative to this memory. My parents always pleaded poverty. So they never could afford, I made the basketball team, I made the volleyball team, I made the cheerleading squad. They always says, "Oh, we can't do that. We can't afford that. We can't do that for you." So I missed out a lot as a child on the things that I was really good at. So I had to improvise and find things that I was good at that I was in control of monetarily. So
Mm.
by the time I moved out, and it was literally days after I graduated high school because I turned 18 about 2 weeks prior to graduation, I ran out that door. And I remember the moment when I walked into a furniture store and I opened a credit card account at the store, and I bought all new furniture for my apartment. And I didn't have to ask anybody's permission. I didn't have to get anybody's opinion. It was just all about me. And it was a moment that I felt free. And that was a positive. But then the negative was by my parents always pleading poverty, I didn't value money when I got it because I was like, it's mine and I can do whatever I want with it. So I'm going to spend it. I'm going to buy luxury bags and expensive shoes and all these things that really literally don't make a difference in your life. But I felt that I was in control now. So nobody could tell me what I could do and what I couldn't do. So I'm learning from that moving forward.
Yeah, I think we're all a work in progress, right? It's
Yeah.
amazing how a money memory, again, whether it serves you or if it doesn't, I mean, sometimes it makes sense to change the narrative, but that will always be a part of your DNA based
Mhm.
on that memory of how you look at things. Like for me, it was, my grandparents, they raised me, they were really mom and dad, and they were depression kids. And so
Mhm.
for them, they both came from big families. So cabinets with like hundreds of cans of bean and corn and whatever, and I remember going home one time and I was like, guys, like these cans are old. They're like from 1987. I mean, old cans, like bloated cans. And I was like, if you were going to go out in the world, I want you to go out for a different reason other than botulism because of can of corn, right? Like truly. So I took all these cans and I threw them away and they were so angry with me in that moment because they were like, you are wasting and throwing away. And I said, I'll replace every can that I threw out. But for me, that's such a pivotal moment with like, not wasting food, right? Like being really thoughtful. And that's still in my brain from that. So it's amazing how money memory can really, again, kind of mold where you're at and whether it serves you now narrative wise, that's obviously your own call, but it's fascinating how it's always a part of you.
Mhm. It's a constant 2024, I put myself on a pretty tight personal budget. So I didn't buy anything luxury at all. No bags, no shoes, no nothing. And then when I got to the end of the year, I was like, wow, I really didn't miss any of that. It wasn't anything that really changed me. I know that sounds very juvenile and kind of, but literally I thought all those things made such a difference. And so when I put myself on a budget to move forward in a different path, and then 2025, I made the same commitment to myself and I put myself on a more of a allowance for my personal time out. So it wasn't constant happy hours and constant meals with my friends or doing this and doing that. I know I have to budget it. Like, what do I really, really want to do this month? And I have to think it through instead of just nonchalantly throwing money in the air because, again, nobody's in charge of me. so I can do what I want. And I'm learning from those past mistakes that I need to make different decisions. And they're still working for me, even though I'm on a tighter financial leash.
You are listening to the Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
Hey, it's Jennifer. I wanted to take a quick break to remind you that you are worthy to have a seat at the table when it comes to money and your finances. Both me and my team at Platinum Wealth Management, want to meet you where you are, whether you're starting out, starting over, or have been investing for years. Reach out to us at platinumwealth.net or call us at 775-717-0001. We'd be honored to help.
And now, back to the podcast.
I'm still good to go.
Yeah, but the empowerment is like you're creating your own leash to a certain extent, which I think, in fact, that actually gives you more freedom because you're
Yeah.
seeing everything, right? It's not, and again, I totally get it. For me, growing up, definitely in a lower middle class, right? Things were tighter. Like I couldn't go out and buy handbags and fancy shoes, right? So for me, I totally resonate with that statement so much. But when you put it in kind of a perspective of like, here's my allotment that I'm giving myself based on me giving it to myself and me kind of giving discipline for myself, it also gives you more freedom to really look at things and know what's coming in, what's going out, really what things look like. So I think that's so powerful.
I agree. You know, when my kids were really little, we used to go to the dollar store. And some days I would say, you have $1. You can pick one thing. We never put the tax or anything on there, of course. Or some days I'd be like, ooh, today's special, you guys, you get $5. Well, my daughter would automatically know what she wanted. She would say, I get 5 things, and she would boom, 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 go pick her 5 things. And then my son, he was 3.5 years younger. It was a mind problem with this kid. He would be, I want this and this and this and this and this, and I want all these. And then we're at the checks, and I was like, Mom, can I go get that one thing, that one thing? And I'm just like, you have $5. You don't have 6, you have 5. Okay. So we'd have to get out of line. And I'd let him do this 2 or 3 times to really kind of have him understand the level of money. And sometimes he'd put back 3 things and grab 3 more things. And then we'd get in the car and he was super excited, but we never went over $5. And $5 was super, super like a big. Now, did I have more than $5? I mean, yes. But the dollar store doesn't really equate for a child getting 5 things from the dollar store should be super special. It was more about a concept of understanding the value of each dollar. And, you know, my daughter's always been super good at that. And my son has just been me, super not good at it. I want, I can get. And it's helped him as I watch him as an adult, as a 19-year-old, thinking about the decisions that he had to make at the dollar store. And we actually talked about it the other day. So it was a pivotal moment for me to look back and say, wow, those dollar store visits, they stuck. You know, they stuck in the kids' heads.
They were educational dollar store visits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another thing we talked through are financial infidelities, which is kind of a big, hairy, scary word for a lot of folks. What's a financial infidelity that you've experienced or that you've witnessed that others could learn from?
Oh, Jennifer.
That's a big one, I know.
I like really nice things, and I shop out of almost a therapeutic level, which I can say that almost, maybe I shouldn't even say that out loud. Almost every single woman that I know has that feeling like I need retail therapy. It's kind of a kind of thing. And depending on my budget, I either go to TJ Maxx or I go to Macy's. It depends. Am I going to go get a pair of Free People pants for $150? Or am I going to go to TJ Maxx and try to find something for $30? That awareness has to be something I'm conscious of now because I don't need anything. Period. I could go my whole life and never need to buy anything other than food and things like that. Easily. But I'm drawn to it. I'm drawn to going and doing things, and it makes me excited. And I have no remorse. It's not like I come home and I'm like, oh gosh, I need to return like 3 of these things that I bought. No, I'm just happy I have all of them, and I put them nicely in my closet and organize everything perfectly, and off we go, and I feel good. So, I don't know.
That's interesting that you say that because I feel like that is definitely something that people put light on. I mean, how many like the kitchen napkins that hang are like retail therapy, right? I mean, literally,
Yes.
it's kind of like a running joke, but it absolutely is a thing. And
Mhm.
psychologically, where does that void come from that you're trying to fulfill from buying something, right? It's definitely happiness in the moment, and I
Mhm.
get this entirely. But at the end of the day, like what? Because it doesn't ever fulfill it completely.
No, I don't have anyone to tell me. I don't have anyone. I will never allow another person to tell me what to do financially. Um, just, um, I don't want to get like too deep and personal, but I don't want anyone to have power over me anymore. I don't know. I mean, even being in a very, um, healthy and beautiful relationship for the last 3 years, um, he is, he has absolutely no say in what I do financially. And so I have to rely on myself to make good decisions, and sometimes I don't.
And everyone's a work in progress, right? Give
Mhm.
yourself some
Yeah,
grace on that for sure.
yeah.
So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that so
Oh,
much.
absolutely. Yes, yeah.
So, one thing I like to ask as we start to wrap the conversation, what are tips and tricks that you use in your own home to utilize money a little differently?
Oh, goodness. The things I do, I love to reuse things. So, growing up flipping houses, we're gonna revert back. Change is beautiful for me, whether it's changing to a new brokerage or moving, or I had a friend staying with me recently for almost a year. She just had some family things happening, and I've been friends since middle school. So she stayed with me. And literally the moment that she moved out, um, I redid 3 rooms in my house. I didn't buy anything. I just reinvented every single piece. So every room seems new.
Hmm.
And hold on, I lied. I did buy a couple rugs to reinvent the space, but I didn't buy anything super expensive. I bought very inexpensive rugs just to kind of pop the space a little bit, just by moving furniture around. Simply is a creative way for me to not spend too much money and get a whole new space and energy created.
You are the first person to share that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's fascinating. And it's so true because, I mean, definitely changing up your space creates a different energy, a different feel to it. And
Mhm,
it doesn't always
mhm.
have to cost anything. And I mean, even with a pop of color, that can make all the difference.
All the difference. 100%. That the beautiful tulips you have behind you, pop right there. I mean, and if you need those in a different room, they're just going to make such a special impact on a different room. That simple.
Totally.
That simple. Yeah, to
That's
me.
awesome.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for making time to chat today. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. And I'm always open to like really open conversations that maybe a lot of people are afraid of or uncomfortable in. I'm a very black and white person. I don't have secrets. Honestly, there's nothing that I've done in my life that um I haven't learned from and haven't progressed from. And I'm willing to share all of those ups and downs. And the financial side of it is definitely a big piece to all of it. So I'm excited to move forward teaching myself lessons and learning from you, of course. So
Oh, well,
thank you.
thank you. Well, this is exactly why I started the podcast was so people could share, right? And we can learn from each
Yeah.
other because everyone
Yeah.
has their own unique story. And if we can all take a nugget from each other and learn from each other, what a
Hmm.
beautiful place that is.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thanks again, Jennifer.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those of you watching and or listening. And hopefully you'll join us in the next Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
All righty.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, Platinum Talks Wealth, please subscribe and share. For more information about Jennifer Rogers Markwell or Platinum Wealth Management, please visit www.platinumwealth.net. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member of FINRA and SIPC. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. The guest speakers and their companies are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial or Platinum Wealth Management.